Welcome guys back to the channel of Musings of Maverick. I'm your host Maverick, where today we are going to be catching up to Fairy Gone episode 7. So this is a delayed episode. I apologize for that. I was on vacation in Japan for the weekend, but now I am here and back to do this episode, right? So where did we left off last episode? Well, we went on this big goose chase with Maria and the other girl who... sorry, I forgot her name, in search of an agent who has apparently bought one of the pages of the Black Fairy Tome, right? And then we later find out that this agent is actually affiliated with a, I guess, rich guy named Gilbert Warlock, who is also actually secretly one of the important members of the mafia family of Guy Carlin. And at the end of the last episode, we saw Sweetie also apparently standing outside Gilbert's mansion, probably to do some business with him in regards to this Black Fairy Tome that he has apparently bought, right? And beyond that, there's this entire underlying plot that I do believe is brewing right now, where the two of the remaining 5 dukes of the land, the D's and I believe, okay, Swartz D's, like seriously, their names are so hard to pronounce. Swartz D's and also Ray Dawn, right? They are apparently going to have a big clash, if I'm not mistaken. Especially the perpetrator seems to be Swartz D's, who I do believe is trying to do something with the artificial fairies and use the occasion of the anniversary of the war ending to do something. Maybe do a rebellion, overthrow the people in power, kill Ray Dawn, etc., right? That's how I believe things are going to go down. So we can just see if that happens or not. Beyond that, actually, funnily, last episode I did mention how, it keeps on jumping back and forth between lots of different time periods, right? So really, in order to fully understand it, you probably need to sit down and really go through each of the events and, get a good bearing on what events happened at what times, right? Well, apparently a lot of people thought so as well, because the Fairy Gone official website has now a full-fledged timeline of the events, or at least the important events that have happened in the past of Fairy Gone all the way up till now. So it orders it chronologically by the time when the reunification war starts all the way to present day. And you guys can go check it out yourselves on the official website, but it is very helpful to know a lot of this stuff. Like some information that you can glean from that includes the Great Unification War actually persisted over a period of almost 10-15 years or something like that. And also the first fairy soldiers did not come out until after the war already started. Some little bit interesting trivia such as that. And you also get the timelines of when the events happened to Maria and Vel, and what happened to their village and whatnot, and when did Vel try to assassinate Ray Dawn, those kinds of things. So do check that out if you guys are interested in knowing more of the backstory of this world. Now, besides that, when I was in Japan, I actually went to a lot of places that featured anime goods and manga goods and whatnot, right? Unfortunately, I didn't really find anything related to Fairy Gone. I don't think it's... Well, first of all, it only has an anime right now, right? So it's fairly hard to... even though the style of it is very much in a light novel, it actually isn't based on a light novel. It's an entirely original work, so there's not really any merchandise of that you can see right now. However, the music group behind the music of this anime, No Name, their single has been released, and so there's some big promotion for that as well. And apparently they're also hosting a live event, I believe, in August of some sort. So if you guys are in Japan for, I don't know, the summer to attend rock festivals or whatnot, you can go check them out as well. I do believe they're a pretty talented music group that makes some great music. But in any case, that's that. Let's just get into the episode right now. So let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. This should be present day, right? 505. Those are artificial fairies. And so they are patrolling the grounds. I do believe that the artificial fairies will be compromised in some way. Nope. Here we go. Already compromised. Seriously, that's your big plan? Oh, here's Sweetie and Gilbert Warlock. They're both affiliated with Gui Carlin, right? Yeah, one of Gui Carlin's top executives. Really? I thought they were somewhat... Okay, so nothing came out of that. Let me skip this real quick. I'll see you guys in a second. Stubborn blacksmith and biased rabbit. Alright. But what do you want him to confess, though? If you guys already know that. I believe Gilbert Warlock built his fortune due to the war. Yeah, 3 days until the anniversary. I'm betting my money that something is gonna happen during that day. And I actually believe Diaz, the Duke, is the former boss of the current director. Yeah, they're from rival mafia factions. So I want to fix it? Hmm. Oh? This is the Prime Minister? Alright, this is the guy that ended the war. He used to be king of one of the strongest nations. Prime Ministers seem different from what I expected. Oh. So I believe this is the process in which they can control the artificial fairies. So after this kind of synchronization, then... Yeah. So the operator, okay. They're called operators. Artificial fairy operators. Security Bureau. I guess maybe the CIA or NSA. Oh. No, it was him. He just discovered you. Yeah, that much is off. Something is gonna happen. Sweetie? I'm guessing it's Sweetie. Bittersweet. Well, that was obvious. So is she trying to set them up with something? The Prime Minister and the two dukes, I assume. Yeah. Hmm. Seriously, the Prime Minister is not really the type of person I thought him to be. Like, by all means, this dude is a great guy. He was a former king of his nation that managed to unify the entire empire. And then he willingly resigned from being a king and turned it into a constitutional monarchy and became prime minister. No. And Greek Carlin's ears. Hmm. Oh? Formal dress? Formal wear? Oh yeah, Clara. Clara. So it's like a yeah, she's not officially a part of Greek Carlin. She's just affiliated with them. But still, who is she actually working for, though? That's a great question. she can't possibly think to take on, the government and the mafia by herself. What? No. But what is Sweetie's big plan? They're actually trying to solve this case quite competently. But back again. Really? She has that kind of power? It's been stolen. Oh. Never mind. The two behind him? What? So is she in Is this sort of like a double cross? What? By the way, no matter how many times I've listened to this ending song, it's still so epic for me. The way that the piano goes into the guitar, oh, so good. So good. But anyways, that's that. I'll see you guys after the ending. Oh, actually there is some stuff left after the ending. So let's just watch this together in 3, 2, 1, play. Flashback again? Oh? Young sweetie? So Sweetie is actually a centerpiece character? Alright. Alrighty, so that was actually an interesting episode, although not really much happened and it was a lot of talking, at least compared to the last episode, which featured Clara and Maria taking up half the episode going on a wild goose hunt with nothing really to show for it. I feel like this one at least gave us a lot of information and allowed us to learn a little more about the dynamics of the situation, right? We see the conflict between the Ministry of Military and the Ministry of Fairies. They have some misgivings there between them. We see how Gilbert Warlock and Bittersweet are not exactly on the same terms, even though they're both in the mafia group Gui Carlin, they're not exactly trusting of each other, right? So and in fact, Bittersweet, to my surprise, it seems that she's actually also a major character within this anime. So she's got her own backstory and stuff, and she's a constantly recurring character. So that was also interesting as well. So she definitely has her own agenda that is different from all these other people. So now we got a new party into the fray, right? And not yet another faction that is on the scene right now. And also, you know, the entire pacing of this plot, at least it felt to me that we already know something is going to happen, right? And to the best of my guess, it has to do with the Duke Diaz. He's working with the mafia group Arcane, with Wolfram, in order to compromise these new generation of artificial fairies, and they're planning to do something probably on the anniversary event of the ending of the war. So at least that much we can pretty much infer, right? But the actual people within the Dorfia, I guess you could say, don't actually know that yet within this episode, but they're going bit by bit, finding clues and hints to find out about this, and it is actually progressing along, and even using some resources from the outside, such as the Security Bureau. So again, if this was adapted from a light novel, I'd probably be complaining and saying that not enough backstory was given, or not enough context was given. Like, why did the Security Bureau suddenly pop up out of nowhere and is now helping Dorfia try to figure out this mess, right? That seems awfully convenient, but I guess, and I mean, it still is, even though this is an original work, but it's easy to sort of pretend that there's an entire backstory in regards to that part as well, and it was simply adapted, and some bits and pieces were cut out. So at least they're trying to go through this step by step and getting more and more near to the truth, right? So beyond that, I think what's even more interesting for me, or a point of something to think about, basically, is why exactly they are doing this rebellion, right? Because it doesn't seem like the current unified Zeskia, unified country, unified empire is really suffering much. Like, in Wolfram's case, I guess I can understand why he would want to rebel against this current government, right? He was on the losing side of the war, and by all means, by hints, it seems that his family was also killed as a result of the war. So it would make sense for him to have hatred towards this current government and want to take it down, right? So that part I can understand. But the person that he's supposedly working with, Duke Diaz, What is his problem with this current nation? Is it simply a power grab? He simply wants to remove the prime minister, remove Ray Dawn, and become the next in line, or does he have his own ulterior motives as well as to doing this, right? Because he's not the Duke for nothing. He's done a lot of only 5 people were made dukes, right? So he's obviously had his fair share of achievements in order to do this. So why is he suddenly planning a rebellion now, right? The other 3 dukes, if I recall correctly, they were all accused of rebelling, but it wasn't actually true. They were only accused of it, and then in the end they were wrongfully killed or something. At least that's how I remember the backstory of the other 3 dukes. But this one seems like he really wants to do something, and I really want to know what exactly that is. What is his agenda that he wants to do this sort of thing, right? So again, it's probably going to have to do something with the artificial fairies. Apparently, probably due to the engineer, I believe Eddie he was called, the original designer of the previous generation of artificial fairies. Maybe they made some breakthrough that allowed other operators to control. Well, we can see that other operators are controlling different artificial fairies within this episode, but probably the breakthrough came from there, and that is what they're planning to do in order to cause chaos and wreak havoc during the day of the anniversary. So I think that about sums up this episode. Again, even though a lot of things happen, a lot of this is still moving in a direction that I believe it was going to move in, including the actual plot, the underlying plot. So far, I haven't changed my stance at all yet. It's probably, as I said, the conspiracy, is what I already described. So let's just set things in motion and see, right? Apparently the next episode is going to continue on to maybe one day before the anniversary. So right when shit is about to hit the fan, if you will. And the ending situation was also pretty interesting as well, right? So Sweetie took Clara and Maria to the mansion, and apparently she's double-crossed them, right? I don't think she was supposed to say that those 2 were from Dorothea, right? So I guess she's using this as a bargaining chip in order to curry favor and get a glimpse of the next Black Tomb. Now, of course, later on she can probably say, don't worry, this is all part of a plan for you guys to arrest him, right? So she's probably gonna get off the hook there as well, but she's a compelling character, right? She's fought these things through, and she's always striving to be one step ahead of all the parties, if you will. So hopefully we'll get a little bit more into her backstory as well within the next few episodes. So that's my review for episode 7 of Fairy Gone. Again, a lot of this information, please go to the official website and check it out. If you are still puzzled by the timeline of events, the character backgrounds and whatnot, they actually did a pretty good job of putting everything in there. There's no English version, unfortunately, but you can use Google Translate or something like that, and at least 70 or 80% of the meaning will get across. So, until next time, which is probably, and it's literally a few days later, but hey, better late than never, right? So, I'll see you guys in episode 8. Until next time, bye-bye.